Hello everyone, welcome to English online class. Today our topic is something different. Do you know about the amphitheater or arena, the public arena? I think you have listened these type of names in when you are reading any history of Rome or Greece. There the fight between the slave and the lion. So one side there is an armed man and on the other side there is a hungry animal. Our title, just look at the title, The Lady or the Tiger, resembling this type of story where the king is sitting at the top of that arena and seeing the fight between a slave and the slave, mostly obviously coming from that prison, means the man is already imprisoned for his crime and he's taken to that platform to fight against the tiger or the lion. And this kind of game only ends in a death of either side. But you can guess very easily that who will die. Obviously, we are praying to God for that person if he will win. But every time that hungry lion or hungry tiger wins, because they are very furious. So let's come to that condition and let's go to our past, the ancient times, where we could see these type of situations in front of our eyes. And you know that the public were also invited in this arena to see these things. Although it is not so happy moment, but it was an enjoyable fact happened in the past time. Let's go. In olden times, there lived a semi-barbaric king whose ideas, though somewhat polished and sharpened by the progressive of distant Latin neighbors, were still large, florid, and untrammeled, as became the half of him. So it's talking about the olden times. It's olden. I think you might have not heard about this word. That's olden. You've heard like old, but olden, that's it's ancient time. So we're talking about the semi-barbaric king, another awkward word. We have heard about the barbaric king, means who shows the barbarism, cruelty, unkindness, or merciless. But semi-barbaric, that means if you are drawing a circle, it's a semicircle. So half of this is circle and half of not. So semi-barbaric, we can assume the use of this word by the author. That means it's half cruel, or we can say half kind, whose ideas, though somewhat polished and sharpened by the progressiveness of distant Latin neighbors. Yes, he was also progressed by the distant Latin neighbors, were still large, florid, and untrammeled, as become the half of him. He was greatly given to self-communing, and what he himself agreed upon anything, the thing was done. That means if he has done any commitment, the thing has been done for sure. So the king is very stern, and if he gives any word, he keeps his word. Among the borrowed notions by which his barbarism had become semified was that of the public arena, in which, by exhibitions of manly and beastly valor, the minds of his subjects were refined and cultured. So borrowed notions means here races, means different kinds of religions or different castes by which this barbarism had become semified. Semified means it's easy, had become the easier, was that of the public arena. So where it has been done, only in the public arena, where the cruelty is very common, in which by exhibitions of manly and beastly valor, I told you it's a fight between the man and the beast, the minds of his subjects were refined and cultured. Yes, so somewhat or somehow he has been cultured or he has been refined. When a subject was accused, subject means here it's not your subject and predicate or subject and object. Here subject means who is accused, the criminal. So that person is not in a condition to call him as a person. He is a subject now, accused of a crime of sufficient importance to interest the king means that person can be taken to the arena to fight with the furious animal. Public notice was given on that appointed date. I told you that the people are also invited in this public arena to see this barbaric match. The fate of the accused would be decided in the king's arena. Obviously, if he would die or live, that would be decided. When all people had assembled in the galleries, and the king, surrounded by his court, sat high up on his throne of royal state on one side of the arena, he gave a signal. A door beneath him opened, and the accused subject stepped out into the amphitheatre. Directly opposite to him, on the other side of the enclosed space, were two doors, exactly alike and side by side. So, what's the situation here? The platform is a amphitheater where the king's position is in the high of that public arena. He is seeing this match from the high, and just from his side, that accused enters into that ground, and just opposite to that accused, there are two doors, just same to same look alike. It was the duty and the privilege of the person on trial to walk directly to those doors and open one of them. So it is the duty of that person, of that accused, that to go to his opposite side and choose one of these doors. He could open either door he pleased. There is no force that to only to open this door. No, it is his fate or his choice to open his door, and his door will fit his fortune. He was subject to no guidance or influence. That means no one can tell him in which door which one is waiting for him. If he opened the one, there came out of it a hungry tiger, the fiercest and most cruel that could be procured, which immediately sprang upon him and tore him into pieces as a punishment for his guilt. Obviously, for his guilt meant he is a criminal, so he was imprisoned. Obviously, by some, obviously he has done some crime. So it was his punishment when it will be murdered by the tiger. The moment the case of the criminal was thus decided, doleful iron bells were clanged, great wails went up from the hard monuments posted on the outer rim of the arena, and the vast audience with bowed heads and downcast hearts wended slowly their way home, mourning greatly that once young and fair, old and respected, should have merited so dire a fate. So, who had just come or invited to see this cruel match, they are also disheartened to see that the young person is been killed by the furious tiger, and that is his fate because he had chosen this one. Now, our question is that, and we are curious about that, what is waiting at the second door? But if the accused opened the other door, there came forth from it a lady, the most suitable to his years and station that his majesty could select among his fair subjects, and to this lady he was immediately married as a reward of his innocence. So it is just the fate to choose in that public arena. If he is opening the first door, the tiger is coming. But the second door is gifting him a lady, a very fair lady. So where it's a furious, another that is fair. So that's why I think author has used that word semified. Here it is semified. So nobody will influence, nobody will tell him in which door what is obeying for him. So only you have to choose. The accused has to choose his fate of his own without any guidance. That's why he is a semi-barbaric king, where he is gifting his life. Another way, he is taking the life. So it mattered not that he might already possess a wife and family. Now, the marry is good for him or not, that you will decide. Means if the person is already been married, means he has his wife and children, no matter. He has to marry on that condition because it's the choice of his own fate. So another door opened beneath the king, and a priest, followed by a band of choristers and dancing maidens, advanced to where the pair stood. So priests also come and dancing maidens they also come because they have to celebrate the ceremony where the pair stood side by side, and the wedding was promptly and cheerfully solemnized. Then the gay brash bells rang for their merry peals. The people shouted glad hurrahs, and the innocent man, preceded by children strewing flowers on his path, led his bride to this home. So this was the king's semi-barbaric method of administrating the justice. The institution was a very popular one. When the people gathered together on one of the great trial days, they never knew whether they were to witness a bloody slaughter or hilarious wedding. So this is the fact that what's the choice of that criminal, the accused person, the subject. So it's only up to his choice. He has to make his fate. And this choice is given by our king. That's why our king is called semi-barbaric according to our author. Next we will meet you and we will do that live class and we'll continue with the story. Bye bye, take care and see the video.